Hook opening scene. Imagine a world where every action we take, every word we speak, and every desire we feel is perfectly understood. A world where men and women never misunderstand each other, where intimacy isn't a battlefield of silence, rejection, or unmet needs. Sounds like perfection, right? But here's the truth. That world doesn't exist. And this is exactly where today's journey begins. Welcome back to Stoic Mindset Wisdom. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most controversial and misunderstood truths about women. Why do women need sex? Forget the surface-level answers society throws at you. This isn't about cheap stereotypes, shallow opinions, or viral myths. This is about psychology, biology, human behavior, and the hidden emotional needs that most people never dare to talk about. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear may change the way you view women, relationships, and even yourself. And if you think sex is just about physical pleasure, you're in for a shocking revelation. Chapter 1. Beyond Desire. The hidden psychology of female sexuality for centuries. Society portrayed male desire as dominant and obvious while painting female desire as mysterious or even passive. But modern psychology reveals a truth that's far more fascinating. Women don't just want sex. They need it for reasons that go far beyond what most men assume. At the very core of female sexuality lies something powerful: connection, identity, and self-worth. Sex for women is often a mirror reflecting how valued, desired, and emotionally safe they feel. And here's where the story takes a surprising twist. Chapter 2. Emotional Bonding and the Hormone of Lovelet. Let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed how a woman might seem distant when emotional trust is broken? No matter how physically attractive you are to her? That's not random. That's psychology. At work, during sex, especially at the peak of intimacy, a hormone called oxytocin floods a woman's body. It's often called the love hormone or the bonding chemical. For women, oxytocin is the invisible thread that ties physical intimacy to emotional security. This is why so many women describe sex as more than just pleasure. They describe it as feeling safe, valued, and deeply connected. But here's the twist most men overlook. Without emotional bonding, many women may feel empty even after the most passionate encounter. And this emptiness can quietly erode the relationship. Now imagine this. What happens when a woman's need for emotional bonding is ignored, when she craves connection, but only receives physical release? That question alone has destroyed countless relationships. And yet very few men even realize it. We'll come back to that later. Chapter 3. The silent cure for stress, anxiety, mental exhaustion. These words aren't just part of modern life. They're chains that weigh down the human mind. And here's the shocking part. Sex is one of nature's most powerful stress relievers. Research shows that sexually active women report lower levels of anxiety and depression. Why? Because sex reduces cortisol, the stress hormone, while boosting dopamine and serotonin. It's the very chemicals responsible for happiness and motivation. But there's more to it for many women. Intimacy acts like a psychological reset button. The worries of the day fade, the emotional storm quiets, a sense of calm begins to take over. Yet here lies the paradox. While sex can heal stress, a stressed woman often struggles to even desire sex. It's a delicate cycle. And if a man doesn't understand this, he may mistake her withdrawal as rejection, when in reality, it's a silent cry for deeper emotional connection. And that brings us to a question men rarely ask. What if her not tonight isn't rejection, but a sign she needs you in a different way? Chapter 4. Self-esteem. Body image and the silent validation. Let me ask you something real. Have you ever noticed how a woman's confidence can light up a room or vanish in an instant with a single insecure thought? Here's the psychology most people ignore. Sexual fulfillment directly impacts a woman's self-esteem. When a woman feels desired, when intimacy reassures her that she's attractive and wanted, her body image often transforms. She carries herself differently, smiles more easily, and even takes on challenges with stronger conviction. But here's the dangerous flip side. When intimacy is absent or unfulfilling, insecurities begin to creep in. She may start doubting her body, her attractiveness, even her worth. And those doubts don't stay in the bedroom. They follow her into her career, her friendships, and her everyday interactions. This is why psychologists emphasize that healthy sexual experiences fuel empowerment. They don't just satisfy physical needs. They remind a woman that she is seen, valued, and alive. Now here's where it gets even more fascinating. Some studies show that women who report consistent sexual satisfaction often excel in leadership roles, creativity, and even risk-taking. Why? Because confidence in intimacy spills over into confidence in life. So next time someone tells you sex doesn't matter that much, remember this. For many women, it's not just about pleasure, it's about identity. But what happens when this need for validation collides with society's toxic beauty standards? When a woman's natural desires for intimacy meet the pressure of perfect bodies and ideal looks shoved down her throat by social media? That collision isn't just psychological, it's emotional warfare. Chapter 5. Physical health. The body keeps the score. Here's a truth few talk about. Sex isn't only about emotions or hormones, it's medicine. Real, natural, biological medicine. Studies show that regular intimacy improves immune function, enhances blood circulation, and even promotes better sleep. For women, it goes deeper. It improves pelvic health. It reduces menstrual cramps. It strengthens bladder control. But there's something more chilling. Psychologists have found that women deprived of intimacy for long periods sometimes report phantom stress symptoms, headaches, fatigue, irritability, not from illness, but from unmet emotional and physical needs. Think about that. The body itself starts manifesting the absence of connection. This means intimacy is not a luxury. It's a fundamental need woven into human biology. But here's where the paradox strikes again. While regular sex boosts a woman's health, poor intimacy or emotionally disconnected encounters can have the opposite effect, leaving her drained, insecure, and physically tense. So the real question isn't just, is she having sex? But rather, is she having fulfilling sex? And that one question might be the difference between a thriving relationship and one quietly falling apart. Chapter 6. The biological clock and desire's hidden rhythms. Here's a fact most men overlook. Women's desire isn't random. It follows rhythms, biological rhythms deeply tied to hormones like estrogen and testosterone. Yes, testosterone. Most people assume that's only a male hormone, but women produce it too, and it plays a vital role in their libido. During ovulation, many women experience heightened desire, not by choice, but by biology. Evolution designed it this way. Nature quietly nudges women toward intimacy when fertility peaks. But here's the twist. Unlike men, whose sexual drive is often more linear, women's desire can be deeply influenced by emotional state, trust, and psychological safety. This is why a woman can feel biologically ready, yet emotionally withdrawn if she doesn't feel valued. And here's where it gets even darker. When men ignore this truth, they may misinterpret her fluctuating desire as moodiness or rejection, when in reality, her body and mind are operating on two different frequencies. But what happens when a man learns to read these rhythms? Happens when he understands that female desire isn't about constant pursuit, but about attunement, the ability to sense when her body and her heart align. The answer might just unlock the mystery that's confused men for centuries. Chapter 7. Connection. Over-release. The deeper need. Let's destroy a myth right here. Many people assume sex is about release. It's about physical satisfaction, but for countless women, sex is less about the act itself and more about the meaning behind it. For them, intimacy is proof. Proof that they are loved. Proof that they are safe. Proof that they matter. Think about that. While men may often seek release to relieve tension, women often seek connection to relieve loneliness. This is why communication, affection, and emotional safety matter just as much, if not more, than physical attraction. Now imagine this scenario. A woman gives her body, but doesn't feel emotionally seen. She walks away emptier than before. But when she feels valued, protected, and truly desired, the same act becomes transformational, healing wounds, strengthening bonds, and filling her with energy. This is why countless relationship experts argue that female sexual satisfaction isn't built in the bedroom. It's built in the conversations, trust, and emotional groundwork long before intimacy even happens. But here comes the dangerous cliffhanger. What happens when this deeper need for connection collides with a world of superficial encounters, dating apps, and fast-paced intimacy? What happens when women crave depth, but men offer only surface-level attention? That's where modern relationships silently collapse. Chapter 8: The Silent Strain. When needs go unmet, picture this. A woman lies in bed next to her partner. He's present physically, but absent emotionally. He turns to her, seeking closeness. She hesitates, not because she doesn't want him, but because deep down, she feels unseen. He assumes she's rejecting him. She assumes he doesn't care about her feelings. And slowly, quietly, a wall begins to grow between them. This isn't rare. In fact, psychologists say one of the leading causes of emotional